This is Samuel Slater, who was considered the father of American textiles, though he was English.
Of course, I eventually would like to get up to Lowell and see all that because it's a national park.
Okay, here's a picture of the one of the Lowell girls in Lowell, Massachusetts, where it first began by Slater. Then they moved down south after the Civil War. The first cotton mill in North Carolina, here it is. Shink Mill. It was in Lincolnton, and the Catawba River was the power source. First cotton mill in Alamance County was High Falls Mill in 1834, and it's still here. The Cotton Mill Campaign, from fields to mills. Wow, this is a wool uniform. I bet you they didn't wear those in the summertime. Here's your typical uniform here. Overalls. A lot of these workers came from the farm, and they knew what hard work was. Wow, look at this steam whistle. That's cool. And what is this right here? An Australian opossum. How did that get here? And there's a World War II uniform. Look at this. I mean, World War I. Wonder where that was made. Look at these shuttles here. Huh. Man, that thing looks like more like a koala bear. All right, the textile trail. Let's look at it up here. Samuel Slater had the first one. And then Lowell. Okay, Lowell was the one that did it wasn't Slater. And then in the South, you had the Georgia cotton gin was patented by Eli Whitney. And in Georgia, the Ogden Holmes sawmill gin. Oh, gin, okay. As in cotton gin. And then North Carolina, 1813 was the first one. Alamance County, 1832, 1837. And then here we go, Haw River. There's a World War II uniform. And I wonder where these were made at. And this was Glencoe's specialty here, plaid. They did innumerable plaid patterns. Okay, timeline. High Falls, later Copeland Mills. Alamance Cotton Factory by Edwin Holt, Alamance County. Is formed from Orange County. North Carolina Railroad breaks ground in Greensboro. Civil War. Glencoe, 1880, by James Holt. Glencoe. World War I, because of wartime textile demands, textile workers receive historic but temporary raises. Mills overexpand to meet demand. 1923, Burlington Mills is established. J. Spencer Love is its founder. 1927, 579 textile mills in North Carolina. And in 1934, they had a series of general strikes. World War II, Burlington Industries serves as chairman of the Textile and Clothing Leather Commission of the War Production Board. While many mills produce items for the military, nylon is temporarily unavailable due to the importance to the military. 1954, Glencoe closes permanently. 1962, Burlington Industries become the largest textile corporation in the world. 1967, there are 1,262 textile mills in North Carolina. Now what is this right here? Good middling, strict, good middling, middling fair. I've heard the expression fair to middling, referring to how somebody's doing. In the cotton chest of drawers here is found at the Glencoe Cotton Mill is common in all cotton mills, used for evaluating cotton coming in from the supplier to the mill. Each drawer contains a biscuit set of cotton samples, graded according to color and amount of leaf trash. The samples change yearly. Wow. And here's the classification there. The top one is strict good middling, all the way down to good ordinary. All right, this is a roving can of cotton here. Barrel-like containers used in textile mills to collect thread yarn, which is easier to transport. Wow, look at this machine. What is this? Circular loom. Here's some more of the history of the mills in Alamance County. Dyed yarn. Ruffleville, Carolina, alcohol, Beltomite.
Hey, how you doing? Pretty good about you.
Well, as long as I'm indoors, I'm okay right now.
There you go. I just happened to be doing a DoorDash delivery just down the hill, and I was like, you know what?
The hosiery center of the South.
I love history, so.
Well, there's a brochure of the Glencoe Village. I'll give you a little more history.
Okay.
This is one that actually just came out today, which
Oh, wow.
I don't know if you're from Alamance County or
I'm from.
our entire county. Now these are only the first 10 mills that were started back in the 1800s.
Look at this machine.
We probably had over 50 or 60 mills throughout history.
Making
A
socks.
lot of them have kind of faded out into the
A
sunset.
toe sore machine. Ah.
Since others are just in ruins, but there's some more history on
Up.
the back. And this was
Here we
the
go.
store back in the day, so
Hosiery.
I tell the school kids this was like your Walmart of the 1800s.
Oh, yeah.
You could come in here and get just about
Wow, look at this
anything.
sexy hosiery here.
Some
Here we go.
video of these coming.
These were socks that were made here at Glencoe
Museum, and also
for the military.
depending on how much time you've got, you can go across the breezeway.
All right, here's
that you can go into.
J. Spencer Love,
Size wall,
who founded
administrative offices for the mill.
Burlington Industries,
and the president's office.
which became the biggest textile mill in the world for a while.
Wow,
So
okay.
anyway,
Yeah,
The
I had,
rise and fall of Burlington
my father
Industries.
worked with, something like,
Look at
he
these
worked
socks.
with Bluebell down in Greensboro. So he-
Cone, if you've heard of
Right,
Cone
yes.
Mills, that's.
Yeah, baseball teams are very important in these mill towns.
County, like our Cone Hospital.
And this building here
Been up to the Blue Ridge
was
Parkway.
the store
See the Cone House, is it?
for the
Cone
community, the company store.
Cone's, you know,
It's where you bought your
house.
Coca-Cola, soda pop,
Yeah,
tobacco,
So,
but they left a good legacy. I mean,
thread,
you were head coach of Cone
shoes,
Hospital, Mexico
groceries.
last year, but nice hospital.
yeah, my papa.
Don't tell me they sold rabbit gums. No, this is probably just on display.
The sad thing is all the cones.
And here's tobacco. This is how they used to sell it at an auction.
Of course, you got the cone.
It's a bundle.
Gibsonville, wasn't that cone?
Yeah, so.
The
that
cost
was,
of doing business. People are amazed at the low prices in the good old days, but keep in mind that buying power of $1 in 1900
Yeah,
was roughly equivalent
and there used to be.
to $30 in 2020.
Back behind,
That's called inflation.
kind of main drag through downtown Gibsonville,
Yeah.
they just shut down about a year and a half ago.
Really?
But they made women's undergarments.
A loaf of bread, 5 cents. Pound of beef, 10 cents. Wow. There's a coffee grinder. Seen plenty of those. Humpty Dumpty what? Humpty Dumpty, I don't know what is in that container there. And look at this. This is a,
Where China has taken over so much.
what is this?
Now, what's the age on this?
I don't know.
So this mill was built, this whole village was built in 1880.
Okay.
This is,
1882, so this year we're.
what is this?
140.
Oh, it's a country ham bag right there, but this is some kind of fertilizer, maybe.
Yeah.
Here's the weight scales. Here's the proprietor here.
That map of
What's he got on? Oh, he's holding a
time of
blanket or
another occasion, but
quilt or something. Look at that. Bull Durham. Now 2 bags for 15 cents.
things out, there's some interpreters
Wow.
on roads.
Nickel cola, 5 cents.
If you want to
Red Rock cola,
get out, or if you want
Mobil oil.
to walk the whole neighborhood.
And I did see that some of the houses look like they are occupied by residents.
So in the 1990s, this place.
All right, here's your medicines
And
that people took.
Preservation North Carolina is our.
Pepsin,
umbrella organization
colic,
following
flatulent
who,
colic medicine. Wow.
oversee and advise people.
Okay, Orion Balm, Castoreum,
Well, they came in.
liver stock
funded
prep.
That project and decided they would,
Look at this.
start selling all these houses one by one. They bought all the property up for next to nothing and then turned around and resold the houses between 10 and 30,000.
To use them.
Look at that Camel cigarettes.
Well.
Prince Albert. Look at that tiny. Oh, those are
to pay off
papers.
The debt.
And there's a Bull Durham.
People came in from
In
all
a bag.
over the state,
Wow.
bought these houses up individually. and
El Riso.
restored them. And so now the entire village is owned by.
Oh, okay, they got a little bit of everything here in this general store.
New York, Kentucky.
Green's General Store.
And I guess the locals didn't care anything about it, although we've got some locals coming.
Look at these old medicine bottles.
You know, wanted a historic house.
But it looks like they were able to save almost everything.
Most of them.
Baking
have,
powder,
I mean,
canning materials,
village as it stands
sewing
today,
materials, buttons,
there's
glasses, they
houses
sold
throughout the
glasses,
neighborhood
shoe
that
polish,
didn't survive.
clippers. Notice it's not electric.
Here between these two houses,
And look at this
church.
killer diller
This became the Methodist church.
cash register.
It's not denominational. And
The company store.
the church is
As the mills made progress and they needed resources for their employees to survive within the village, from Glencoe to the nearest city of Burlington was about 3-mile walk or horseback ride. Remember, people didn't have cars.
okay, by like 2 miles. Okay.
There was no public transportation.
It was probably.
The company store was created within the village of Glencoe to provide those needed items for families more easily.
And still have an active.
Oh, my soul, do the company so.
About 5 years ago.
So you could charge it, but you had to, they took it out of your pay.
Bought the property and so if you go to the top of the.
This is a twine for wrapping stuff. This is the paper they would wrap stuff in. Didn't have bags.
The original schools.
But telephone technology in the textile mill era.
Kind of like they do a lot of buildings and added brick to it.
Here we go,
And it became like
the candlestick model.
school office for the north end of the county.
My, things have changed.
You know, probably 30 or 40
This is
years,
a
and eventually nobody
violet ray generator
served it. And so
for medical
came in and said, we want the property because the property
treatment.
was dirt cheap and they just raked the school off and put Dollar General there. But the neat thing about
High frequency violet ray health generators claimed to adapt high frequency care for treating human disease and conditions.
mills in operation, except for the church and the school.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, there's
And
a
this
couple
is
houses around that did sort of
Dr. Miles Nervine.
reconstructed
What's in that? What's in that Nervine, huh?
This is very
Does it have alcohol in it?
textile mill
I bet you it does.
or, especially
Here we go.
you might go into some communities and you don't have any of the houses.
Alcohol, 3%.
They have a village, but you don't have the,
Look at this, 25%. Ah, that's something.
yeah,
1830s, I think.
yeah, so this is where the history of plaids begins in Alamance County, is that Alamance factory that you can see was a wooden structure.
Look at these tablets, the aspirins,
Survived throughout history.
they put them in little metal containers.
Village of Alamance,
There's aspirin, Joseph, St. Joseph,
but it was kind of
Anderson.
the place of plaids.
And this is
And then Lenco specialized
stuff for treating headaches.
in this. So around the museum, like,
Mill Village Medicine.
I mean, look at all.
They would have a doctor, I guess.
You got a million and one different ways that you can combine different colors so that
Country doctors, no, they had country doctors that made rounds here.
we're still doing a lot of
So
this
people had to use folk medicine treatments.
because a lot of these war
In the late 19th and early 20th century, poor diet and hard work of mill hands combined with lacking medical knowledge of the time could be deadly. Smallpox, hookworm,
so a particular war front, you got to transition
pellagra,
manufacturing into
pellagra,
building
whatever it's
tanks,
called,
planes and parachutes
a
and
form of vitamin deficiency.
hospital,
They're telling what kind of diets they had.
tents and so forth. And so
Look at this goat.
we're not sure where Lenco
The goat is pulling this wagon here.
during the wartime in regards to what they manufactured. You know,
Curing what ails you.
from anywhere,
Early pharmaceuticals.
yeah,
Main ingredient would be alcohol.
it's about an hour and a half from here. So during the Civil War, they had no
Hazards of the workplace.
spray.
It was dangerous. The machinery, your hair or clothes could get caught in that, your fingers, limbs, arms, whatever. And then you had all this cotton lint and dust.
I hate to tell somebody,
And this is one of the problems.
And I just can't think.
Over time, people would develop brown lung,
he lived.
breathing cotton dust day after day. It would collect in the
He was a
lungs.
bad drinker. Always a bad drinker. And he was supposed to go be in a movie out in Hollywood. And I think what I remember hearing is he had his tickets on his nightside table. And he went on a binge. And came up and, yeah, I just love history, so I thought, well, I'm over here, I might as well stop in. It's perfect.
Yeah, these
You know, money's good, but, you know, that you.
these towns were very strict about drinking. You couldn't get drunk and raise hell in town.
And like I said,
They had no bars and they had
so few and far between.
lots of churches. And if you were a hellraiser drunk, you usually get fired.
Well, the
They
Dallas-
didn't tolerate
Dallas, Charlotte, Concord, there were a lot
bad
of
behavior.
people that- I remember, I used to, my mother was dating a guy that, he's actually sadly since deceased.
Look at all these bottles. Boy, they got quite a collection here.
South Carolina, and he had a heart attack, died. But
Look at this oats. Look how big the package is. Holy mackerel.
I remember going down from the 85, that area, and all you saw was mill sacks.
And look at pork and beans. Look at that size of those cans. Wow, they're huge. Oops. What do we have here? Oh, whiskey. Look at that. There's a jug full of it there. I imagine moonshine was quite popular too.
Shoeless Joe Jackson, he grew up down in Spartanburg.
Here he is,
And he
the proprietor
and he got good enough
with his little grandkid.
where the minor league and major league
Company-owned general stores also assured that the wages of workers went back into the company, protecting the mill's financial reserves. Some mills paid in scrip or trade checks, so it could only be spent at the company store. All encouraged a cycle of debt designed to keep workers at the mill. More than a third of all southern mills ran company stores by 1900. The Glencoe Mill store.
scandal and this, that, and the other, so he's kind of got a black mark
That
on
was
his
like,
name.
now was that early 1900s?
Yeah.
Was that like 1919?
James Waddell was the proprietor here.
Well, so actually,
There's a
that was sprayed.
Picture one in South Carolina.
Oh, wow. And, but I remember hearing a story that somebody bet him that he could catch.
You didn't have to live here to shop here. You could pay in cash
Through that ball.
if you didn't want to drive or walk to Burlington. Look at this.
Well, I mean, look at the kind of gloves that were used way back in the day.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's not going to.
Wow, step into the office here. Glencoe Mills offices, administration, office operations, a heavy responsibility. Guess this is where you got paid at too, huh? No, they weren't paid here at the window. They were paid out of a adjourning company store every Thursday. Look at this old office equipment. Heavy duty metal that is so different from today's offices, huh? You had a typewriter, adding machine, which is all mechanical, no electricity. Wow. All right. Labor unrest. This happened, I think, in the 20s. In the 1880s, they moved from up north down to the south. Haw River strike of 1900. Textile workers went on strike in response to the firing of Anna Whitesell, a weaver at Thomas M. Holt Manufacturing Company, for making too many trips to get filling for her looms. Wow. Look at this. In response to the strike, the Alamance County textile manufacturers met and they announced to workers, told the workers to renounce the union or return to work or vacate their company-owned homes. Some 3,000 workers, union and non-union, remained home in solidarity with the strikers. Hundreds of these workers left Alamance County to seek work in textile mills in South Carolina and Georgia. The unions didn't have much luck in organizing Southerners because of the state legislatures would keep them out. But they had strikes. There's one in Gastonia in 1929 in which the chief of police was killed along with Ella Mae Wiggins, and she was a 29-year-old striker and mother of 5. And that was made in national headlines. And then there was the 1934 general strike, and that was the largest labor strike in U.S. history at the time. As many as 500,000 textile workers across the country walked out in a strike that lasted 22 days. In some cases, workers' demands were met. In most, however, the striking did little to nothing to improve working conditions and only hardened mill administration against unionization. It was the case in Burlington where tensions were heightened by the Burlington dynamite plot, a foiled attack by strikers which was speculated to be the work of mill owners seeking to criminalize the union. Regardless, the strike represented exasperation mill workers had with the textile industry. Look at this big old book right here. Ledger. Holy mackerel, payroll ledgers. Typewriter of news reporters, Jim Wicker. Spent 40 years of his life reporting the news for the Durham Sun, Herald Sun, Greensboro News, and Burlington Times News. Look at those safes. Heavy duty doors there. There's a portrait. Safekeeping. Office machines of Glencoe. What is this thing right here? This pre-computer age, an adding machine. Wow, that thing is huge. All right. Let's go over here and see what Glencoe's forte was, which was plaid. That was their specialty. Cotton plaid. Burlington Industries, the world's largest textile mill. 1923, it was founded with 200 employees, 150 loans. Burlington Mills finds success in 1925 with the new synthetic fiber of rayon and begins producing rayon bedspreads and dress goods. Burlington Mills continued to expand and is now the largest weaver of rayon in the United States. The company moves its headquarters to Greensboro. Burlington Mills has 22 plants in 9 communities. During World War II, Burlington Mills produced items for the military. Burlington Mills becomes the first textile company to advertise on network television. The rise and fall of Burlington Industries. Due to diversification, Burlington Mills, the company changed its name to become Burlington Industries. 1962, J. Spencer Love dies of a heart attack just as Burlington Industries becomes the largest textile manufacturer in the world. The first textile company to reach $1 billion in sales. By now, Burlington Industries is a multinational corporation with 62,000 employees in 125 plants in the United States and 9 foreign countries. 1987, Burlington Industries endures an attempted hostile takeover, and the company goes private. Poor sales and the rise in cost of materials causes layoffs in North Carolina and Virginia. That year, the following year, the knitted fabrics division is eliminated, and another 1,100 jobs are cut. Corporate restructuring in 1999 and the layoff of 3,000 workers. 2001, they went into Chapter 11. 2003, Burlington Industries is sold for $614 million. The company is merged with Cone Mills and becomes part of the International Textile Group, which changed its name to Elevate Textiles in 2019. Are these the people that worked in here? I bet you they are. Look at this quilt. Are these the houses in the village here? I bet you they are. And look, they got the plaid in the corners there at the intersections. World War II uniforms, U.S. Navy. And what is this lady here? Oh, Red Cross. Look at these old floor fans. That was pre-air conditioned. It's the president's office. The mill management hierarchical structure mirrored that of northern mills. Ordinary workers answered to section men and second hands who reported to overseers that managed each production department. Above the overseers were superintendents or agents, the highest position of the mill. Supervisors were originally northern mill hands recruited to get the industry started in the South. Some supervisors were known for working well with employees under them, while some were hated for their attitudes and abuse of power. Supervisors were known to play favorites among their relatives in a tight-knit communities where families worked together in mills, much to the annoyance of employees. Before child labor laws were widely implemented, managing the spinning room or children's department was an unenviable job. Supervisors had to chase down young employees who ducked out of work to play ball or go fishing. As well as avoiding pranks of children known to play, such as spitting tobacco juice at the mill window unto the heads of bosses below. The mill owner had the final say and control of all operations. All right, step into the president's office. Wooden paneling. The Holt Empire. Mr. Edwin Holt began it. Second generation. Well, let's look at the, take a look at the office here. It's desk, it's not that fancy. And here's a portrait of Mr. James Holt. Wow, look at this big clock. Mr. Green must have been the attorney for the textile mill. The Holts at Glencoe. James Holt was E.M. Holt's third son. Partnered with his brother William to build Glencoe cotton mills in 1880. James's son Robert became the manager of the Carolina mill and the majority owner of Glencoe. The Green branch. Daisy married Walter Green, a partner in the Charleston shoe store, in 1902. After Daisy inherited the mill, Walter Sr. managed Glencoe for a number of years with his son James Holt Green. Holt became a U.S. Naval Intelligence officer during World War II and was aided in returning down American airmen from behind enemy lines in Slovakia when he was captured by German forces, taken to Mauthausen concentration camp in Austria, tortured and executed in January 1945. Wow. This is Henry James Holt, the son of Edwin Holt, was co-founder and president of Glencoe Mills. Look at this insulator. And look, it's an ashtray.